What's up, everybody? Axe Wizard here, back with another video about Cairn. This time I want to clarify the scars rule because I think it's one of the most misconstrued things about the Cairn system, and I've realized that like in every video I've ever made about Cairn, I've gotten it wrong like every time. So when I made my video talking about the 2E playtest that's available now, if you haven't checked that out yet, I highly recommend you do. There's lots of cool stuff in there. It was brought to my attention yet again that I still have the scars rule wrong. So I feel like it'd be a big disservice if I didn't make a video that actually clarifies what the scars rule is. So a lot of my confusion with the scars originally came from on the original rules for the first edition. Page 4, when it talks about hit protection, it says if an attack takes a player character's HP exactly to 0, the player must roll on the scars table. So I think the first video I made about Cairn, I was rolling on the scars table. That was not correct, because if you actually go to the section where it talks about scars, when a player character reduces their hit protection to exactly 0, they are sometimes changed irrevocably. See the scars table on the following page for more. And then when you go to look at the scars table, it says when an attack reduces player character's hit protection to exactly 0, they are uniquely impacted. Look up the result on the table below based on the total damage taken. So then based on that wording, I was confused about the emphasis on exactly 0. I used to think that, oh, well, you can't go below 0, so anytime that an attack brings you down to like where your hit protection is 0, that means that you would pick a scar based on how much damage you took. Now to me that was saying, hey, if I have 3 hit protection and no armor and somebody hits me for 6, I actually took 6 damage, so I would take scar number 6. That's incorrect. It is anytime it brings you exactly to 0. So in my earlier example where I had 3 hit protection, I need to take 3 damage. No more, no less, needs to be exactly 3. If I take 4 damage and it drops me down to 0, it doesn't drop me down to exactly 0 because that leftover damage, that 1 damage goes to my strength, and that's critical damage, and then I have to make a save to keep fighting. I do not get a scar in that case. It is only when it takes you exactly to 0. So if you have 3 hit protection, and you have 2 armor, and somebody hits you for 5 damage, the 2 armor mitigates 2 of that damage, so you take 3 damage, which is exactly your hit protection. That's how much damage you actually took, is 3. That would be the number of the scar you would pick on the scars table. Yohai himself commented on my last video and said, whatever your HP was before it was 0, that's the number you look at on the table. So it seems like that the rule's been somewhat clear for a while now. I've just been wildly misinterpreting it. So I recently joined the Cairn Discord and was giving lots of feedback about the 2nd edition playtest. And you know, it seems like they're just trying to find a way to just simply explain the scars table. And to be honest, I don't really have a great way to explain it either. The best feedback that I was able to provide was, like, I think an example of play would go a long way in helping explain that. Because when I first started looking at Cairn in like my first video, you know, I was looking on the Cairn site, and there is an example of play section where it explains a lot of the stuff, but there was no example of the scars mechanic. So they're also going to work on adding an example of the scars mechanic in play. I think that will help. There's lots of good changes coming in Cairn 2E that I'm excited about. Definitely check out the 2nd edition playtest. Again, the 2nd edition is completely backwards compatible with version 1 with 1st edition. So if you don't like all the extra stuff and you prefer the old stuff, guess what? You still have version 1. But yeah, scars is basically whenever your hit protection is reduced exactly to 0. No more, no less, exactly to 0. You drop down to 0 hit protection without taking any critical damage to strength. Whatever your hit protection was before you took that damage, that's the number that will correspond to the scars table. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it, and I hope this clears that up. Let me know if you still have questions about it, and of course, let me know if I still got it wrong. If I did still get it wrong, I'm going to delete this damn video and remake it. But I'm pretty sure I've got it right now, so, you know, 5th time's the charm, I guess. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in whatever video I make next.